Hello everyone and welcome back to Starsector with me, JD Colley. As you can see, if I switch here to sector map, we have not really found much out here. I didn't end up going to Khufu, instead went to Random Nebula and then up to Haojing and then kind of back again. I wasn't able to get too far, but I did kind of explore out just a little bit. Neither of those suns had had planets around their stars, so I didn't go into them because it cost me like 51 fuel just to leave a system right now. I did find quite a few things, just none of them were of any particular import. I got an Atlas blueprint, some Alpha cores, but these were all mostly from research stations. There wasn't really much in the way of significant combat. I did run into some small remnant fleets, but nothing of particular note. And yeah, so I do have a bunch of blueprint packages, including a missile blueprint, a pirate one, which I'm not going to learn because I don't want that cluttering up my my blueprint lists. The same with the Letic Path. We've got the Atlas, a brawler. Oh, the ever precious monitor blueprint. I was extremely excited about that one. That's the one thing I was pretty stoked about. Griffin, a shade, a kite, and some perdition blueprints, which are really nice, as well as a locust. On top of that, we got some nanoforges and cores, but that's about it. It wasn't all that impressive a run when it comes to exploration. Profitable, yes. Particularly exciting? No. I mean, I enjoyed playing it, of course. It was fun for me, but it wasn't anything really new to be showing you guys in a video. So real quick here, we've got high stability, so we can make lots of money from our sales. So we'll just offload all of this stuff. Actually, I'll hold on to those just in case I want to do some exploration still. Grab fuel, supplies, and then probably just sell all of these blueprint packages. There we go. 158,000. I'll also get rid of these. And all right, that is our sales made. I could buy some more fuel and stuff, but I'm not going to yet. And then there haven't been any significant changes to the fleet, aside from I did not keep that one Eagle because it had degraded engines, and I just didn't feel like dealing with another degraded engine ship. Let's look at our colony really quick, our colonies. So, military bases and orbital stations here on Trenzalore. Asbeal now has heavy industry, which is upgrading to, what's it called? Orbital works. Its orbital station is under construction, and its patrol HQ is upgrading. I have not dealt with any significant attacks from the locals. Nobody's been really mad at me. There's been some pirate activity, and the Letic Path is no longer happy with me because I've begun working with heavy industry, but beyond that, it's been fairly quiet, actually. If we look here, colony threats, we finally got one from the Letic Church. It says it's compared to the defenses, the expedition space forces are outmatched, and its ground forces are evenly matched, which means that's what it's against. Like that, the expedition space forces are outmatched by the target, Trenzalore, which means given that it has to deal with 3 planetary defense fleets, it's actually, or the planetary defense fleets of 3 colonies, it is very heavily outmatched. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to try and intercept it myself personally. Additionally, there is a pirate raid, which again is somewhat weak and outmatched by the fleets defending the system. And then we have pirate activity. I don't know where it's coming from yet because I haven't been back to Yaquam to find out. I would assume from probably somewhere close though, but it's likely to be somewhere nearby, which means it's probably like here in Gamma Karanin or Beta. This little set of systems right here seems to be very, very popular for pirate bases to pop up in. Just another thing to address. Some people have wondered why I'm using the fleet I'm using, and I'm not running. Oh, hold on. Sorry about that, sad baby. People have been wondering why I'm not running fleets like, say, of Hyperions and Wolves. Reason for that is because I don't find it particularly interesting. But as a guide kind of oriented Let's Play, I feel it is my duty actually to make sure that you guys know about those things. An extremely effective fleet, both early and mid and even late game if you play it well, is a fleet composed of 1 or 2 Hyperions, 1 or 2 Afflictors, and a whole heap of Wolves. This is a fleet you can acquire fairly easily if you take an early Tritachyon commission, and then just focus on salvaging every wolf you find. And like I said, so grab a Hyperion. They're expensive. They cost about 30 supplies a month to upkeep, but they're extremely potent in the right hands. And then an Afflictor. A lot of people don't know that you're supposed to take an Afflictor for a fleet like that. They think you just need the Hyperions and the Wolves. They're wrong. The Afflictor can kill, if you outfit it correctly, an Afflictor can kill 2 onslaughts in about 30 seconds, and 1 of them in about 4. So definitely your capital killing backbone for a fleet like that. But anyway, I digress. The point is, I don't find that gameplay particularly interesting, nor am I a good enough pilot to really make use of it. But if that is something you're interested in, of the Wolfpack super fleet approach, definitely go for it. It's a lot cheaper to run in the long run due to being so frigate heavy, and it can really deal a lot of damage and take care of most threats. So yes, I do know about it. No, I won't be running it, not because it's bad, but because I just don't personally enjoy it. If you want to, go right ahead. It's an awesome fleet thing. It's been around for a very long time and it's very potent. Anyway, moving on. So, we just prepare our ships at the dockyard. I'm also going to run over here to Madeira to pick up some more fuel because my fleet is somewhat fuel hoggy right now. And also some people have complained about my description of the Falcon as a good ship compared to those things like the Hyperion. Those people need to learn the difference between the word good and best. There is a difference, and the Falcon is a good ship. It's not the best ship out there, though I would actually argue neither is the Hyperion. That's just personal opinion, but yeah, people have some differing opinions on the subject. Basically, what comes down to best usually is what fits your playstyle best. So yeah, don't need to really discuss that anymore. We're not going to pick up anything more, I don't think. I would like another apogee, but I'd like to save the money to continue to upgrade my colonies. And I don't really feel like our current fleet is in need of much more, honestly. Ooh, a Athletic Church Lasher, that's kind of cool. I would like to pick up some more brawlers or something, or maybe upgrade to a better escort frigates, or not frigates, destroyers, like enforcers, to kind of take the role that I've been using these frigates for, because enforcers are actually really good escort ships due to their extremely good coverage and weapon art coverage and ability to mount some very powerful PD in the form of flat cannons. But I think for now we're probably good. These little guys have been doing a good job. Sorry about that beeping. That is my son's food being ready. Okay, so where are we heading next? I think, well, we don't have to go here, but I think I want to, actually. I'm going to run home to Yaquam, and the reason is so I can find out where this pirate activity is coming from. After that, I'll probably get back to you with the battle for this and whatever upgrades to the colony that I begin from there. So it turns out I actually did not turn off the mute on my mic for this next few sections, which is unfortunate, but I did notice this later in the episode and pretty much covered everything I was going to talk about during the gameplay. So rather than rehash what I was actually doing on screen, I'll instead talk about the most common question I get on my channel right now in regards to Starsector from new players, and that is, when do I start a colony? Now, of course, you've seen in the series when I started mine, but people still are feeling a bit uncomfortable about it. They're not sure when exactly they're ready. And my answer to that is really whenever you feel like you're capable of dealing with the threats for your colony size and able to front the bills. So a lot of people said, like, oh, you need 1 million credits, you need 5 million credits, you need 20 million credits, whatever. The truth is, how many credits you currently have is much less significant than how many credits you're capable of making. If you're confident you can produce 200,000 credits a month, then by all means, that is better than having 1 million credits or whatever, or 5 million credits, because that ability to continually produce that amount of money will be what's necessary to keep your colony afloat. If you have 5 million credits but can't make any, your colony is going to quickly run out of money, because 5 million credits really isn't that much when you start to get into the serious production stuff. And honestly, being able to make money is definitely tied to a competent fleet. Now, of course, if you have the ability to make money that early on, like first month of the game, let's say you have the tutorial fleet, you're confident in your capacity to make money, you've taken a good commission, and you got lucky and found a good planet, and let's say Duzak, by all means, go ahead and colonize it if you feel like you can handle it. If you're going to just be building a colony and then slowly scaling up over time, and not making a free port, not building heavy industry, not using AI cores, the only real threats you're going to face are basic pirate attacks, and eventually, once you've gotten some serious production online, maybe some market-associated assaults from corporations, or not from corporations, but from factions whose market share you're encroaching upon. Which those attacks are not too serious, honestly, and by the time you're starting into them, you've probably been able to scale your defenses if you're having at least a moderate focus on them. So yeah, by all means, colonize when you feel like you're competent at defending your colony and can pay for it. They are extremely expensive, of course. They do make you a lot of money if you're able to manage them, but they cost a lot. And probably the more important factor about them is that they are kind of a ball and chain, right? You're going to be bound to that corner of the sector, wherever you place your first colony, for some time, as you possibly ferry goods for shortages or deal with the early raids that your early defenses simply aren't going to be up to the task for. Now, once it gets going and you're properly scaling your defenses to the threat, you probably won't really have too many problems with it. I mean, I'd have to run back once in a while for a serious engagement, but overall, you should probably be able to leave after you've got things set up. As shown in my current playthrough, I don't really have to babysit Yakum anymore. I mean, I can, and I go back for specific engagements, but none of the colony threats presented to me right now are serious enough for me to actually be required to engage them. I just do so because I prefer to. Even the pirate base I'm attacking right now is not significant enough to have any real ability to threaten me. Yeah, so essentially, just be ready for your threats. If you know you can take out orbital stations, then you probably can handle all of the early pirate threats. If you know you're capable of handling capitals, you can probably take out AI inspection fleets. Now, if you're confident you can handle pretty much a battle station with its defenders, you can handle the Letic path. Just be aware of your own capacity and the threats that various decisions will present to you in colony building. And honestly, you can do colony building whenever you want, just as long as you're making those decisions intelligently. There is not a hard, oh, you should start your colony now answer. Because, I mean, if you have 4 onslaughts of Paragon and are making 500,000 credits a month, but still have not found a planet with below 200% habitability, and none of them have farmland on them, well, maybe you should still keep on searching. You haven't found a good planet, or maybe you found 5 of them and they're all beautiful, but your fleet's still small, and you don't feel like you can take on threats. Maybe you should wait until you have gathered the fleet you think is ready. Just scale it to your capacity. That's the biggest, most important thing. And as we've talked about in the series, there are those little key things to know, that a free port will allow small attacks from factions based upon your free port status. Existing as a colony will cause pirate attacks, which you cannot avoid. You can only stop by destroying the station, but the stations are usually just orbital stations if you get to them quickly. I'm not sure if they actually do scale up larger as time goes on. I believe they do, but I don't have any proof of that, so don't take it as gospel right now. If you build heavy industry or are maybe refining, if you are refining enough goods across enough planets, I think the Paletic Path will get mad at you. They have a counter. Essentially, if you're doing enough of anything, it makes them mad. And there's certain things that if you do it at all will reach past that point, including the building of heavy industry. And the use of AI cores will make the hegemony mad at you. That they'll send fleets. Of course, if you're making huge amounts of money, even if your fleet is terrible, go ahead and use AI cores because you can just pay them off for the first while. You can just go into the interface to the intel screen and go look at the colony threats, and it'll give you the option to prevent the attack. You can just give them a big chunk of money and they'll go away. You're paying off the inspection. Now this cost gets higher every single time you do it. You can also use your reputation, but it actually lowers your reputation to do. It essentially spends your reputation. But if you're very high on reputation and don't particularly care, go for it. It's just a way to buy yourself more time to be ready for when they actually come at you in a serious way. So just get into the colony game when you are ready to get into the colony game, knowing the things you know that we've talked about in this series, and you'll do fine. And if at the end of the day things just go completely pear-shaped and you can't handle it, well, your colony will eventually get down to size 3 and you can abandon it. You can't abandon a colony larger than that, but at size 3 or smaller, you can abandon a colony and you will no longer be tied to the expenses involved with it. So by all means, don't feel bad about abandoning a colony that is dragging your game down. This is supposed to be fun. That's why I play with the fleet I do, because I enjoy it, not because it's the best. And the same thing is true of your colonies. If it's not being fun, abandon it and come back when you're ready to have fun doing it. That is the best answer I can possibly give to when you should do colony things. It's a bit involved. I'm sorry it's a bit long, but that really is how you should approach colonies, is do it when you're ready. Anyway, we're coming back up on where I turn on my mic again, so back to old me. Alright, we have returned to Asbiel, and I have just realized that my microphone was muted for the previous section, so that will probably be done in post. I'm sorry about that. We have returned to Asbiel to find there is a fleet engaging our orbital station. Now, it's not a particularly scary fleet, and I think our fleets and stations together can clean that up, but I don't take kindly to people attacking my home, so let's join the battle. Take command. Oh wait, they're running away. Order your second command to handle it. We'll send a carrier after them, and our SO ships. Yeah, that cleaned them up pretty well. Alright, let's see, you can salvage too, but not with the fleet there. There we go. And we'll just salvage that too. And he shouldn't be too much of an issue. Okay. Just make sure there's nobody there for me. I would like to put a commerce industry on one of these planets here in the eventual future. I'm not doing it right now just because I need those industry slots for more important things. But I really would like to get that done, and I need to head over to Trenzalore really quick before I go to Asbiel. We've got these nice Persian League fleets running around, which is nice. And as you can see, our own defensive stuff combined with the independents, who seem to enjoy spending time with us because of our high reputation, makes for a pretty potent defensive setup. What's this? Fountain, or a prospector. Oh. You're small enough I can understand why you're hiding. Alright. Prepare your ships to the dockyard, manage the colony. We're going to get rid of all this junk. And then we're going to sort and grab that right there, as well as that. Alright, so first let's head over to Androzani Minor. And we'll just slap this little core in. See, because fuel production is technically there. It's not finished building, but we can still install the core even though it's not finished yet, which is really nice. So there we go. We have our fuel production. As soon as that gets started, it'll start producing a ton of fuel, which is excellent. It'll also seriously piss off the Sindri and Dictat because we're going to make a big dent in their market share for fuel, but we can deal with that when it happens. And let's roll on over here to Asbiel. Oh, just as a note, one thing you should keep an eye out for is look for small cloaked fleets around your colonies once you've started pissing off the Letic Church or Letic Path. If you see a small smuggler fleet or basically small smuggler fleets and stuff, this size or smaller, and you look at them and they have Letic Path variants, they're probably a terrorist trying to infiltrate your colonies. So you might want to talk to them about that. Give them a firm talking to. We're also going to install a Nanoforge, which, as you can see, kicks our fleet size, or our fleet's ship quality up to 100%, which I believe will go up to 115 or 120 with the orbital works. I think it's 115. I'm not sure exactly. But as you can see, the average ship will have 0 demods, which actually turns out to be between 0 and 1. You have to have 120% ship quality to completely remove any possibility of demods. But as it stands, our fleets will now be quite nice and they're very large. They're going to be big and they're going to be powerful. So I think we are done here. Oh, also, our orbital stations, I believe, are all done now. Nope, not Gilead. Yep. So if we wanted to, we could start upgrading these to our highest levels, or we could also upgrade to a high command, which might be advisable. That would really help us defend this system better, make those fleets really large and potent, and especially our ground. The real bonus here, though, is the stability bonus, which essentially would make it so that we don't have to worry about Letic Church or Letic Path intervention. We're already at 10 with the -3 from the Freeport, and an additional +2 from this will definitely make sure that even continual Letic Path intervention won't have much effect on us. So I think I'm going to do that if I can afford it. Oh yeah, that's not even very expensive. Okay. I could upgrade to heavy batteries. That would put a really heavy ground defense. It'd upgrade us up to like what? Up to like 5,000 defense, which would be pretty sizable. We could also upgrade to a battle station, which is a bit pricier. However, that would be probably the most effective thing we can do for our defenses beyond what we've already done. Let me make sure there's nothing else I want to do at any of these other places. Okay. Since none of them have any obvious... Well, I guess I could upgrade to megaports. That would have definitely improved their accessibility and give them big population growth bonuses. I think I'll do that, honestly. I need the population growth in addition to what's coming from the Freeport, so I'll do that. Okay. So that's us set up for what we need to do. Our colony threats, just these guys. I think I might try and hit up that fleet, or that Letic Path base in Duzak. I believe it's still there. Bounties. Yes, it's still there, and it's got 106 days remaining. Ooh. But there's a base somewhere in Morganth now. Oh, but this bounty's ended. That kind of makes that less attractive to me. 80 days. We could also head down here, take care of these two bases. That's a tiny, tiny group. I think what I'll do is I'll head to Eos, Exodus, or Canaan, or wherever this is coming from. It's coming from... I don't know where it's coming from. Let me read really quick, as I'm terrible at reading these things. Well, I guess it won't show me where it's coming from specifically anymore because it's already left. Well, I'm just going to head to Eos Exodus and probably intercept the fleet along the way. If it's an impressive battle, I will join you there. Otherwise, I'll head onward to Duzak and then down to these systems down here to make some more money. Well, it's not the most impressive fleet I've ever seen, but it's definitely big enough to put up a fight, so we will engage them. And they don't know who we are, which is fun. It's not a really nice Legion, unfortunately. It does have some demods, but they're not terrible demods. I guess if I got it and it didn't gain any more, it would be pretty nice. So let's move into engage. For this, we will bring in the Justinian, the Aphelion, Warpig, the Esmeralda, the Butter Biscuit, the Winging It, the Jolly Roger, the Pirate Revengeance. We'll also bring in the Galactica, of course, and the Raging Spider. I'm very hesitant to put the Fogelclew into big battles like this. It's so squishy. I will, however, bring in... I'll probably bring in the Killican, as well as the Gretel, the Helping Hand, the Vampiret, the Yamahawk. Oh, I want to bring in the Hansel, but it suffered so much combat readiness damage from storms that I just don't feel like I can. Alright, I think that will do it. I'm going to leave the objection overruled just in case I need a ship to either mop things up or switch into if I lose the Justinian for some reason. Alright, we want to set up some escort orders. That should do. And we'll just set up our standard defensive positioning like that. And that should be probably pretty good. Now some of you guys have been talking about the Conquest and how it's an inferior capital ship, too expensive, too poor flux capacity, everything like that. You know, the Conquest is unquestionably a difficult ship to like in a lot of ways. It's really not the best capital in some ways. But honestly, if you fly it well, it can be one of the best. It's kind of an argument between whether the Conquest or the Odyssey is the best player capital, just because they're both so mobile. They allow the player to really take advantage of their superior battlefield knowledge. The AI really can't see the battlefield the way you do. It can see it, sort of, but it's basically making all its decisions on algorithms, whereas you can look at it and see the shape of the battlefield as it were, and kind of get a sense of where you can poke and do the most damage. And ships like the Conquest and the Odyssey are both very fast, allowing you to really do that, take advantage of those of that battlefield awareness that the AI lacks. Of course, the Paragon and the Onslaught are wonderful ships for just sitting there and taking a massive beating and then giving one in return, but they don't allow you as easily to exploit weaknesses, which is why KG players often use things like the Conquest and the Odyssey, which at first glance can seem very inferior to their more tanky capital friends, but they really are quite useful if you use them right. You should not be using these as heavy tanks. They're not meant for that. They're really meant to be flanking and exploiting and using their incredible firepower to, devastating effect. And of course, as I've mentioned many times, I am not the best pilot out there. I'm not the person you should be looking to say how should I be piloting my ships, because I'm frankly quite bad at it. But that is a general idea of how you should be using these ships. They really are great for exploiting weaknesses in the enemy line. So don't look at the Conquest and think that it's trash. It's not. It really isn't. It requires different handling than a Paragon does. but it can do a tremendous amount of damage if placed in the right place. It won't survive what a Paracon or an Onslaught does, obviously, but it can also do a lot more damage than either of those ships can in the right circumstances. There we go. Let's go take out this isolated Dominator over here. Got to get out of the way of my ships so they can continue to fire at it as well. My Falcons and Eagles there. Hello. You're about to have a really bad day. Not sure why they did that, but whatever. Let's see, I think we can get rid of that and that. And we'll put engage orders on the capitals, as well as defensive orders there, and probably there. Just to help our ships move up into optimal weapon range. And see, this actually shows kind of how you should be using a conquest. You should be using them at a range that allows them to fight with their shields down ideally. They don't like shields. Their shield's not excellent. It's functional, but it's really not great. So you kind of want to be just sniping at people if you can, because the Conquest has tremendous DPS, really on par with everything but the Paragon, and as a result, if you can exploit that, bring it to consistent bear, it is a very difficult ship to tank. As you can see, I mean, I'm laying waste to this fleet, and granted, it is a fairly unimpressive fleet here, but it doesn't change the fact that the Conquest really is an excellent ship for exploiting enemy weaknesses. As you can see, things like this little Lasher here are actually having a great deal of difficulty evading me. Is that it? That's it. Yeah, we laid waste to them. We will pursue. We'll just use our little objection overruled here along with the Lashers. That should clean them up. Consider ship recovery. That's unfortunate. Take everything. And that is that. No more Electric Church invasion. So I'm going to continue on my way. Well, I have once again guessed the correct planet to jump in on, which is unfortunate when you jump in right next to a star fortress, or well, battle station. That's just never a good plan. So I used emergency burn to evade that really quick, and my son has awoken. I will be back in just a moment. Sorry about that. So, our capacity to deal with this station is largely going to depend on whether or not we can get rid of this fleet. If I get rid of, I don't necessarily mean destroy, just drive off. Which is what I'm going to attempt to do. With this one. I actually feel that we're completely capable of taking on that fleet. I just don't want to do so while also fighting a battle station, as I feel that will probably turn out poorly for us. Alright, we'll accept the comm request and we will deny the tithe because I'm not paying 58,000 credits to have this. Leave me alone. Move into engage. We'll just quickly sort this out. I don't expect this to be any trouble at all. I'm probably over-deployed, but that's okay. I'd rather just get this done quickly, without any fuss or hassle. They quickly move in with their overdriven ships. The fun that is the Ludic path. Ooh, I should be careful here. I'm liable to get myself in trouble. I have to drop my shields here for a moment. Whew. Ow. Well, we've lost our engines, but I think we'll be okay. Well, I should not have put my shields right there. That was a terrible mistake. Fortunately, the side he's shooting at still has some armor on it, so... We're just gonna vent. It'll hurt a bit, but... Get back with our friends. I'm going to put a heavy escort order on myself. What am I doing? I want to be the other direction. Go away. You get rid of the Tarsus. Ah, there we go. Good hit, guys. Sadly, won't be enough to finish this dude, but he's basically done. All right, he's retreating. I don't feel like letting him go. Although I probably should. I don't care. Alright, so there we go. That Pather fleet is destroyed. We're going to pursue them. Just to make sure they don't come back to haunt us. And no, we don't want any Pather ships. There we go. Salvage that really quick. Okay, so that cleaned up that little fleet nicely. Did take more damage than I wanted to because I did not respect the Pathers. Always respect the Pathers. Alright. So we're going to try and take out this fleet over here. Now, unfortunately, my children just got home from school, so I'm going to have to pause for just a moment. I'll save the game just because it's probably going to be about 4 hours before I get another chance to record for the rest of this episode, so I apologize for the mid-episode save, but we will be back momentarily. Whew, okay, that's about 10 hours later. Nope. Well, yes, that's exactly what I want, but I don't want them to catch me yet. Let's see, can we take that? I think we could have the full deployment. There we go. Move into engage. Continue. We're just going full combat deploy with pretty much everybody. I guess that's what a full combat deployment would be. I'm going to leave them out for pursuit purposes. And should I bring them in? Yeah, why not? The Ludic path just throws so much at you. You just need bodies at some point. So, all right. Let's get this party started. Something I wanted to talk about. I've been mentioning in the past that I was going to be doing a modded series, and since this series probably will be wrapping up sometime in the fairly near future. I don't know exactly how long, but I don't think we've got too many episodes left in front of us. I was going to add a poll to this episode in the comments, or in the description, I mean, with some of the mods that are available, and just an open poll basically to see which mods you guys are interested in seeing me play. So if there's a mod you'd really like to see me use, just vote for it. You can vote for more than one, of course, and I'll go with the ones that get the most votes. I may not go with as many as you guys like, because the downside of mods is that they do directly affect performance. It's just a necessity. Well, not a necessity, it's just a consequence of how modding works. At some point you are going to run out of memory, because this is a Java application, and yeah, you can't keep adding bits without it eventually affecting performance. So I can't add every mod ever, but I can add quite a few. So we'll look at that poll at the beginning of the next episode and see what people are interested in. Right now, let's punish these pathers. They've already been beaten up pretty bad. Ooh, now's a bad time to look at my screen. There we go. I do wish that it would not blind the tactical or the strategic screen every time somebody died. Ooh, well, we've got a good battle line going. I'll put a fighter strike on him, engage there, and engage there. And an engagement order there that I will assign you to. Oof. Those little mules. My own mules are doing okay. And that Prometheus Mark II, well, let's get it off the field if we can. It's got a Mjolnir cannon on him. Aha! There we go. Didn't kill him, but it definitely did some damage. I'm going to event while I have the opportunity. Kill this guy while he's facing the wrong way. Start moving forward. As some of you have mentioned, I should stick a front shield modification on this ship. You're probably right. Definitely improve my shield capabilities, and I'm over exposing myself right now. You really shouldn't be twisting the conquest that hard to the side. You only need to really torque it to about, there I would say, for optimum firing arcs, which a front shield conversion would certainly cover, allowing you to fight more than one ship in the front at the same time. I can definitely do that. Probably won't do it right now, but I will definitely look into doing that and see how it feels for me. Oh, don't die. Don't die, little guy. Whew. Always a big boom. Not as big as I was expecting, though, surprisingly. Alright, we've mopped him up pretty well now, I think. We'll just re-engage him, see if we can get the other one in between. Appears we did so, and the other one's going to get away, I think. Yep. Alright, claim victory. We'll pursue them with, well, these guys, I guess. That should be enough to mess them up pretty good. There we go. Consider ship recovery. Haha, no. And pick through the salvage. Alright, excellent. Now, I would like to fight this battle right now, but I am pretty certain this episode is already too long as it is. So, instead, I'm going to burn right over to it and save this fight for next time. So at the beginning of the next episode, we will slay this Ludic Path battle station and then move forward with our colonies. Just a quick recap. Since the section where I talked about the colonies, I actually had my mic muted for, which is super unfortunate. We installed a pristine nanoforge here on the heavy industry, which kicked our fleet quality up to, it was 100%. I don't know why it dropped. Oh, probably stability, yeah. We lost stability due to the active lytic path cells. However, we're upgrading our patrol HQ to a fleet HQ, or no, to a military base. No, is that what it's called? Yeah. Anyway, it'll be upgraded, and that will increase the stability bonus to 2, I think. Let me check. Trenzalore has one. Yes, to 2. So that will effectively counter the lytic path's activity, and we're going to destroy the station anyway, so I think that's the lytic path base that's attacking us. Let me check. Or is this the one in Duzak? Yeah, this is the one in Duzak. Okay, no, so we're not going to take care of it, but we are countering it with our own construction here. So in 48 days, this will go back up to 100, and also in 24 days, this will upgrade to an orbital works, which will have higher quality as well, I believe. I could be mistaken about that. We'll see when we get there. As for Androzani Minor, it's almost ready to make fuel, just 5 more days. So as soon as we finish that other battle, we'll be able to get this online and see how much fuel we're producing. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Go down to that poll in the description and tell me what mods you're interested in, or if there's a mod that you want me to look at that I have not listed in the poll, then please, by all means, tell me in the comments. If there's something really interesting that you guys bring up, I'll give it a look and possibly add it to the modded playthrough. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, leave a like. If you want to see more, subscribe, and I will see you all next time.